Today we'll be starting with the first lecture on the last mile to Cdse examination. So before we start, I would like to inform you that the PDF of the course will be provided in Telegram family. You can join the Telegram family to get the PDF.
Good evening everyone.
Today we'll be starting with the first lecture on the last mile to Cdse examination. So the first topic for today is before we start, I would like to recommend you that the PDF of the course will be provided in Telegram. You should want to revision the video to get the report.
Good evening everyone.
Today we'll be starting with the first lecture on the last mile to Cdse examination. So the first topic for today is so yes, let's start again. So our first topic is the Global Tuberculosis Report 2020, which is issued by WHO. So this is important. Then India's tuberculosis caseload is 27%. The Ministry of Health and Family Welfare India gives the TB report, and we should know that by when we are focusing on eliminating TB. For world it is 2030, for India it is 2025. Now we have the Nikshay Poshan Abhiyan. What is Nikshay Poshan Abhiyan? It is the National TB Information, the portal and the Abhiyan. So the portal is the national portal is the National TB Information System, which is a one-stop web-based solution to manage information of patients and monitor program activity and performance throughout the country. It is under the National TB Elimination Program, and the Nikshay Poshan Abhiyan is to provide meals to the TB patient. Now Nikshay portal is a web-based patient management system, and it is under the National TB Elimination Program. Now two more important things that we should know about TB is the two important drugs, which is protagonate and bedaquiline. These are drugs used for TB treatment, and MCQ can be from here that protagonate and bedaquiline seen in news are related to which disease. Next, Gene Expert. This is a diagnosis device where it gives fast result and quick results. Next, DOTS, or the Directly Observed Treatment Short Course. You should know the full form of DOTS, and DOTS is associated with TB. Next we come to AIDS. Now AIDS is anti-immunodeficiency syndrome, which is caused by the HIV virus. Now the HIV virus is an RNA virus, which is the same RNA which is found in the COVID. It means that even the COVID virus is an RNA virus. There are two types of chromosomes, which is the RNA and the DNA, and HIV and COVID virus both are RNA virus. The World AIDS Day is 1st December, and there is a global solidarity and resilience towards HIV service. This is the aim of the theme of the World AIDS Day. The Indian government has Mission Sampark for the Northeast region, because the HIV load in India is higher among the northeastern states, and there is Mission Project Sunrise, in which the government is providing fresh needles, because AIDS transmission is mostly with needles, mother to child, and drug use. So the drugs addict use one needle multiple times. So under Project Sunrise, government is providing fresh needles to break the chain. So the important topic for MCQ can be what is the full form of AIDS, what type of virus causes AIDS, which is the HIV virus, then when is the World AIDS Day, Mission Sampark, Project Sunrise, and what are the various ways of transmission. Now, the National AIDS Control Program was established in 1992, which is under the control of National AIDS Control Organization, also known as NACO. India has 0.26% of global AIDS burden. There is the Red Ribbon Program, which creates awareness, and the UN AIDS, under which the target was to eliminate AIDS by 2020. Under this, we have the target of 90, which is at least confirming the status of 90% of AIDS patient. Then is at least 90% of the patients should get the ART treatment, and of them 90% of them should have suppressed HIV load. So this is the aim of UN AIDS. So the question can be 90. Recently seen in news is related to what? Now, India has also contributed a $22 million fund to Global Fund for AIDS and TB. Now, next we'll come to news related to solar system, which is the Great Conjunction. What is Great Conjunction? Great Conjunction is when the Jupiter and Saturn, the two biggest planets of our solar system, come in one straight line. Now we'll see the difference between Jupiter and Saturn. Jupiter is 5th from Sun, Saturn is 6th. Both of them are made of helium and H2, hydrogen. Jupiter takes 10 hours for rotation and Saturn takes 10.7 hours for rotation. Jupiter has 12 Earth years for revolution and Saturn takes 29 Earth years for revolution. Next is Jupiter has 75 moons and Saturn has 82 moons. This is the highest number of moons for a planet till date. Next important is Jupiter. For Jupiter we have the Juno mission, and for Saturn we have the Cassini mission. Then the Great Red Spot is found on Jupiter, and Saturn's very famous moon is the Titan moon. Now even ISRO has a mission, Shukrayaan mission, which is planned for 2024, which will go on Venus. Now important question for MCQ can be planet with rings. This is Uranus, Saturn and Neptune. Next we go to Pluto. Why Pluto? Because Pluto was declassified as a planet, so we should know what are the criteria or why Pluto was declassified as planet. Now the criteria is given by the International Astronomical Unit, and it has given 3 conditions or 3 criteria for a celestial object to be called as a planet. Now the 3 conditions prescribed by the International Astronomical Union is it must orbit Sun. Pluto orbited Sun. Next is the efficient mass to assume hydrostatic equilibrium. That means it should have enough mass to keep its shape in a round shape, keep itself in a round shape. Pluto was efficient in this, and the last point is clear the neighborhood. Now Pluto was not able to clear its neighborhood. It had a lot of asteroids and meteoroids in its own path. So due to this, Pluto was declassified as a planet. Now we come to the SOFIA mission, which is a very important mission. Now SOFIA stands for Stratospheric Observatory for Infrared Astronomy. So in this mission, the NASA and the German Aerospace Center will come together, and they'll install a infrared telescope on a Boeing aircraft to observe the infrared universe. Why this is needed? Because the stratosphere blocks the infrared rays to reach the surface of the earth. So we need to establish our observatory at a position from where the infrared universe can be seen. So the aircraft with the infrared astronomical units will travel to above the stratosphere, and from there the NASA and the German Space Center will study the star birth, death, formation of new solar system. So keep in mind Boeing aircraft, the full form, the organizations involved, and what are they going to observe. Next we come to the Earth Observation Satellite 1. Now ISRO has recently launched the EOS 1. It is launched using the PSLV C49. It works with the RISAT or the radio imaging satellite. It will be useful for agriculture, disaster management and forestry. And now it should be kept in mind that the observatory and imaging satellites are usually placed in the polar orbits, and the communication satellites such as CMS-01 will always be placed in the geostationary or the geosynchronous orbits. So next is the CMS-01. This has been launched using the PSLV C50. It will cover the mainland along with Andaman and Nicobar and Lakshadweep. Its main purpose will be teleeducation, telemedicine and disaster management. Now all CMS are placed in geosynchronous orbit. Now what is geosynchronous orbit? Geosynchronous orbit, it's a earth centered orbit with an orbital period that matches earth rotation. That means if this is earth, this is the satellite's path, the satellite will rotate at the same speed as the earth is rotating in a day. So you will find the satellite at the same point at the same time of the day, and this orbit is at about 36,000 kilometers. Now we will see the difference between geostationary and geosynchronous. Now geostationary means that the satellite is placed above the equator of the earth and moves west to east. That means it stays at the same point for a viewer on earth. And geosynchronous means that the satellite is moving across along with earth rotation speed. This does not mean that it is in the equator, while here the satellite will be over the equator. Now we'll see the different kinds of launch vehicles, which is the PSLV and the GSLV. The PSLVs are used to launch the satellites in the polar orbit and the geosynchronous orbit. These are used for lightweight satellites, and GSLVs are used for the geosynchronous orbit and the polar orbits both, but the main difference is that GSLVs can be used for heavier satellites. Now GSLV is the latest version, which has 3 stages, which is the solid, liquid and cryogenic, while the polar satellite launch vehicle had 4 stages, which is solid, liquid, solid, liquid. Another 2 types of launch vehicles you should know is the sounding rockets and the SSLVs, or the small satellite launch vehicles, which is used for carrying a satellite of about 500 kgs up to a height of 500 kilometers. Now you should also know that what are the types of fuels used in PSLV, which is the mono dimethyl hydrazine, oxides of nitrogen, hydroxyl, this one is no more in use, this is terminated, and polybutadiene. This can be asked in an MCQ. Mono dimethyl hydrazine, oxides of nitrogen, what are these? These are fuels used in PSLV. Now new types of fuels are being experimented with by ISRO, which is the liquid oxygen methane and the hydrogen peroxides. Now you must have always heard about 2 types of engines, which is the ramjet and the scramjet engines. What is the difference between them? Now ramjet is an air breathing engine without air compression, and it gives a supersonic speed of about 3 Mach. Mach is equal to speed of light. That means ramjet engine can give a speed of 3 times the speed of light, and while the scramjet engine uses both compressed and combustion, and thus gives a speed of supersonic, which is supersonic speed, and as well as hypersonic speed of about 5 Mach, that is 5 times the speed of light. Now you should also know about the Vikas engine, which is used in the second stage of PSLV. So Vikas engine is related with PSLV. Now we should also know the structure of our satellite launching system, which is where does the ISRO work under, which is the ministry under which ISRO is working, and what are the other hands of ISRO through which it is operating. The first is under the PMO, under the Department of Space. ISRO works directly under Department of Space. Now ISRO has two components, which is the Antrix and the NSIL. Antrix is a mini Ratna. This works with the launching of both public and private satellites, works with government, and helps in launching of new satellites, while NSIL is the private hand of ISRO. This is helping in privatization of our satellite and space technology. So basically profit earning sector of ISRO. So in this class we'll keep ourselves till these topics. In our next class we'll explore more. The PDFs will be shared in a Telegram group. The next class will be held tomorrow night at the same time, 10 p.m. Stay tuned, and I hope you found the class helpful. And from the next class we'll take up more topics per class, and we'll try to finish the whole year's current affair in a month's time. Thank you, and do join the Telegram family, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and